Okay, now it's time to discuss this man.
Oh, great driving run by Son between two Brighton players. Poke towards goal. Kane slides it in. Goal number 300 for club and country.
Yeah, Harry Kane there spearheading his Spurs side to a 3-1 win in the Cup there at home to Brighton. I mentioned there also his 300th goal for club and country. There's been so much talk, Cass, about his poor start to the season. He didn't get his move to City. You know, was he sulking? Or what was kind of the core of his poor form? But you look at his numbers, and they're not as bad as you know as one would think. Do you see him maybe being the difference between Spurs finishing fourth and United and Arsenal?
Well, let's put things in perspective regards to Harry. He's got a fantastic mentality, right? That's clear as day for me. Incredible attitude to football. He's got 21 goals, right, since the start of the season. Now, yes, 5 for England, and he's got different goals in different cup competitions for Spurs, but not as many in the Premier League. But that's pretty still a great return, Jordan.
It is.
21 goals for club and
surprised I saw that,
country
yeah.
is a huge return. You know, we're just at the start of February. And yes, we think he should be challenging for the Golden Boot in the Premier League every year. Well, it hasn't panned out that way so far, but he's still scoring and contributing to the team. And he had his head turned. It was a big thing that happened in the summer for him. He had a Euros and he had the move that Man City was, being linked to.
Well, just to cut you there, I find it interesting when you mentioned earlier on that you felt that the Jadon Sancho saga of the summer affected him, and that's why maybe he didn't get into the England team, and when he did, he wasn't amazing. Do you think it's the same thing here? Do you think that move that was on, off had a significant impact on Kane's Euros?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course I do. And I think it had an impact at the start of the season, exactly the same as Jadon. I think it does come at a price. You're not quite right, and you have to be spot on as a sportsman. Interestingly, Ken Bates said this a few times about signing young players, especially younger players, on new contracts as a chairman of Chelsea years gone by. He said, never try and get them to sign a deal during the summer, so they get everything out of their mind and what they're going to spend their money on and whatever, all the things that young men do. He said, get them ready for the next season. If you give them a new contract around January, February time, guaranteed they'll go missing during the end of the season. And it's a flippant thing to say, but there's an element of truth to that, having interest in you, having your head turned, speaking to your agent, a lot of people thinking you might be on the move, you're a bit uncertain of your future, it makes your sporting performance levels drop. It does. And I've just given you 2 there, from Sancho to Kane. Both had the link of 2 incredibly big moves during the summer. One was for Sancho to Dortmund going to Man U, and the other one was from Spurs to Man City. That could have gone over the line.
We're going to hear from Conte in just a second there, but that's really interesting that you as a former player saying that, because I was one of the people that was of the mindset that you're a professional. You didn't get your move, get your head down and get on with it. I didn't understand that it impacted your performance as much as you're telling me it does.
Look, you can't take everybody, because there's an example of everything, isn't there, Jordan? I mean, if you looked at Declan Rice, now I'm sure there would have been a lot of interest. His performance levels have not dropped this season. But there wasn't seemingly a firm bid for him. Yeah. Although a lot of clubs would go after him if they thought he was available. Yeah. But he's one of very few that have actually kept their England form of what he did in the summer. And a number of them have got injured. Someone like Calvin Phillips has been injured at Leeds, and he's been rumoured that other clubs want him. But that's a fallacy to me. There are loads of players, and I've played with so many who have, interest elsewhere. Could it happen? Do you have conversation with your family? It's far bigger than just a club coming in for you. It's a lifestyle change, a massive one. I went from Millwall to Aston Villa. That was a big change for me, and I remember it affected my form quite quickly, that I didn't hit the ground running. And because it was a huge change, it's not an excuse, but it happens a lot in sport where players do go to clubs and suddenly they're fantastic, and there's many that it doesn't quite pan out that way for them.
Following the game yesterday, Spurs manager Antonio Conte was quick to praise Kane, saying his commitment is starting to be rewarded with goals.
We are trying to improve the intensity also during the training session. And I think all this situation can improve, can improve the performance with all the players. But for sure, I'm happy for him, but I'm happy for the team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an Arsenal fan, so in that battle for top 4, I'm getting concerned. I'm not going to lie.
Well,
Kane coming alive is a concern for me.
He's got a great manager in charge of him as well.
He does.
I think that Conte is the sort of manager that Harry would have huge respect for. Not that he wouldn't have had respect, because he's a very humble man, but as in improving his level of performance. That will happen for Harry under Conte, I feel.
And I think Son returning to the team as well. You know, he was electric in that game. I think all roads leads to Spurs really kicking on.
Well, they had the downside. They played against Chelsea, didn't they, in the cup? And played them home and away, and they played them in the league, and they've not been able to lay a glove on Chelsea. Now, Antonio Conte is knowing
he'll have got into them.
well, got into them, but he also knows what's needed at the club, and that change of direction. He's already pointed to the upstairs about how you do your transfers. That was, out there yesterday in the papers, that he really feels the way they went and spent their money on recruitment, they've got it wrong. And I think that will be a difference at Spurs as well over the next transfer window in the summer.
The Sunday Sports Breakfast, high-octane football fan fuel. Sunday mornings from 6 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.